The Squad members all easily won their re-elections this week, and it looks like that group is growing. Several young progressives were just voted into office, like Greg Casar, Texas, Maxwell Frost, Florida, Summer Lee, Pennsylvania, Delia Ramirez in Illinois, Rob Smith's with us. What do you think about this? Socialism, its voice, gaining strength in the House of Representatives.
Well, this is what I think, Stuart. I think that obviously, there's more young socialists that are getting into the House of Representatives, but I think that socialism has peaked. I think that that entire far-left movement has really peaked. And so look at what's going on right now. And the interesting thing about watching Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over the last couple of years is seeing how thoroughly she's been both absorbed into the swamp and neutralized by the more traditional elements of the Democrat Party. And so all of these squad members got reelected in deep blue districts. These are not competitive districts at all. These people will continue to be reelected. And by the way, if anybody's watching, we need to stop dumping millions of dollars into candidates that are running against these people in these districts. It's just unwinnable. There's more money to be spent elsewhere. So I don't think that these young socialists or these young far-left progressives that are going into Congress are going to really do much because socialism has peaked. We saw what happens when you defund the police. We saw what happens when you give the money for the COVID relief and all of that other stuff. So it just doesn't work. And the last point I'm going to make is that AOC was allowed to get into power when times are relatively good economically for Americans, right? So they could have those silly little conversations. Times are bad for a lot of Americans economically, so I don't know that that socialist message flies when people are worried, and even Generation Z is worried about how they're going to eat, how they're going to put gas in their car, the same stuff the rest of us are worried about.
Socialism has peaked. Oh, I love the sound of that.
It really has.
Now, you're a military guy.
Yes.
I know the Department of Defense sent out a questionnaire to military folks asking whether or not they had enough information on climate change to do their jobs. You're an Iraq veteran.
I am.
Do you worry about climate change when you're getting shot at?
Yeah, I was not worried about climate change in Iraq. What I was worried about was not getting killed.
Yeah, right.
Making sure that none of my guys to the left or the right were, getting harmed as well. But this is, and we've talked about this before, Stuart, this sort of wokeification of the United States military right now. And so we're dealing with the military that, by the way, has recruitment issues. We're dealing with the military where they are lessening the standards for physical fitness, for all of these different things. And so on top of all of that, Lloyd Austin has decided to implement these sort of far left woke things. And let me tell you something else, Stuart. The military in Russia, the military in China, they're not worried about whether their members are, concerned with climate change. They're worried about whether these people are physically and mentally tough enough to survive in war. The job of the United States military is to defend America. It is not to normalize far-left climate change stuff.
Or pronouns.
I
didn't know we were lessening the physical standards.
Oh, absolutely, they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of stuff going on, and this is no disrespect to our bold and brave men and women that are serving today. I hear from a lot of them, and I think that they're just ready for this whole woke movement to be over and get some real leadership back.
Rob Smith, CEO of the Douglas Society.
Yes.
A fine society it is. Thanks for being with us, Rob.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.